Hi, Maria here, and welcome to my channel. I have taken about a two and a half year hiatus from YouTube, but I found myself quite bored, really bored lately, and so I thought I'd make a new video, and today, rather than doing a makeup video, I thought I would talk about my hair. Now, for those of you that have seen videos of me before, my hair was all this color last time you saw me. And I have been dyeing my hair for about, I don't know, 26, 27 years, this dark color. And last year around March was the last time I dyed my hair. Now, I had been considering going gray and just letting my hair go to my natural color for quite a while. Part of the reason why I didn't want to is because I have, I didn't have a child until I was 37. And so I just thought to myself, okay, I'm going to look like his grandma instead of his mom if my hair was my natural color. So I waited and waited and waited. But really what put me over the edge was because my hair was so dark and my roots obviously are so light, what I was finding was, you know, I'd dye my hair, and I've been dyeing my hair myself for years, just because it's low maintenance and the easiest thing to do. But what I found was I would dye my hair, I would love it for about a week, and my hair grows so fast that within about a week, you were starting to see a bit of regrowth, and before I knew it, I had that line of white hair. And because my hair was so light, because my skin is so light, I felt like I started to look like I was going bald. And so then what I would do to combat that was I would just, you know, to get a little bit more time out of it, I would stick it up in a top knot in the top of my head, and then you wouldn't really notice the roots the same way. But that was starting to really break my hair a lot. And so I'm like, well, you know, having to dye my hair once every couple of weeks, that's not too big of a deal, but it was just getting to be a pain. And so I thought to myself, I want to try go gray. I want to see what it's like. What's the worst thing that could happen? If I hate it, I can re-dye it. Like, it's just hair. So I made the decision to let it start to grow out. So I kind of just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what that was like. March was the last time I dyed my hair. After a couple of months, I found that it was long enough that I could put my hair up in a top knot, and you know, it looked white and then the dark top knot, and that worked okay. However, again, the top knot, the pod on top of my head, was not only causing breakage, but I felt like it was I was starting to go a little bit bald, like it was actually breaking the hair off right at the root, or something was going on there, and I was worried that I was starting to lose hair here. So then I thought to myself, okay, I've got to do something. So I started to leave it down, and of course that's a little bit awkward because it's like, okay, I guess Maria's just letting herself go. That's always like kind of the fear. So I started looking into options as to what I could potentially do, you know, kind of to smooth that transition. I started looking on Pinterest at different options, and I thought to myself, okay, my hair's black. I've got kind of almost whitish hair coming in. What if I just put kind of whitish streaks? If I could match up the hair and make streaks kind of through my dark, then like kind of ribbon streaks or something like that. I thought to myself, if I can do something like that, it'll look kind of funky. And of course, gray hair is like so in right now, seemingly. So I thought to myself, if I do that, then, you know, it'll make the transition easier and you won't have that demarcation line. I went to this fantastic hairdresser, and the first thing that she said is, you know, I want to maintain the integrity of your hair. Like, I don't want to wreck your hair in this process. So what she did was she cut a couple little pieces of hair at the back of my head, and she tried dyeing them to see how light she could get it. As it turned out, like, she could raise it quite a few levels, but I would never be able to get it to this. So then the question was, okay, do we just put the streaks in anyway? to kind of break things up or just leave it. And I made the choice to just leave it and go with a haircut. And the reason why is I thought to myself, well, this, like what I've got going on here, it kind of like is a black and white type thing, which kind of suits my personality. Plus I thought to myself, well, it kind of looks like Cruella de Vil. And I kind of don't mind that look. So I thought, hey, I can rock this. So then the question was what kind of haircut to get. And my hair has always, like for years, I've had longer hair, like the kind of that went down to about here. So the thought of chopping it all off was a whole other change that I was a little bit concerned about, I feel like I won't look, I won't feel myself with my hair cut short, all those kind of things. So, but you kind of work through that, get up the courage to do it. And so then I go into my hairdresser, who is just the most amazing person and wonderful hairdresser. And I said to her, okay, these are kind of my options. So I again, had gone on Pinterest a lot, found my two kind of options was something a little shorter than this, but like layered all over, or a full-on pixie cut. So her question to me, which I thought was excellent, is what is your end game? If you're planning on keeping your hair short for a long time and you're really comfortable with that look, then great, go with a pixie. If your end game is to get long hair again, don't go with a pixie. And her reasoning behind that was you go through the awkwardness of a transition with the demarcation line, but then you have to go through an awkwardness of growing it all out again. So she said it's better to just bite the bullet and take one awkward rather than two, which made total sense to me. So I went with kind of a longer, really like tons of layers, but still a little bit longer. And I've got a picture of where it was at. It was kind of about here was my longest layer. Now that the gray's grown out a little bit, I can have it a little bit longer and it still works the same way because it's kind of half and half. So I got the haircut. I was trying different ways to style it. Every way that I styled it, you still would get this demarcation line. So finally I decided to just go super curly. As you can see here, I used a 3/4 inch barrel, and I just curl it all over super, super curly. And I am so happy with the way that it's turned out. Not only, like, I think it looks fine, but I have never gotten, like literally in my life, nobody's complimented me on my hair until I did this to it. And for whatever reason, I get stopped. I get asked by cashiers, I get stopped in stores, and people just really seem to think this is cool. So that's a bonus. So what I thought was going to be my most awkward time in life as far as, aesthetics were concerned, turned out to be kind of my my coming out moment, where it's been like just so fantastic, and so many positive comments. And usually because like I chose to curl it specifically because with the curls you don't see that natural demarcation line, and so it just kind of looks it potentially looks balayage, which was the idea behind it. And that's what people have said. They've gone, oh, I like your balayage. But anyway, this is where I'm at. So I thought I would do a few different videos on the transition, kind of the emotional aspect and dealing with, just it's a change. It's a big change. So, in other videos, I'll talk about that, but I just kind of wanted to share with you what I chose to do. Again, hair grows back. Even now, I like this. I'm not sure if I'll like it all white. If I don't like it all white, maybe I'll dye the tips again, because this has been super fun. The thing that I would recommend to you the most is it's always worth trying. It's worth going through the awkward part, like in the beginning, to kind of see what color you have. It's kind of a neat, a little bit of a neat adventure just to find out what my natural color was. Sorry, my dog is like making noise in the background. So that's been my journey so far. I think the few things that I would say as far as like helpful hints, don't be afraid of cutting your hair. You're gonna have to go through a transition anyway. It's a big change. You might as well own the change and rock it the best you can. And I'm so glad I did that as opposed to just let it continue to grow with the long hair. Doing it this way, cutting it, like, and again, you can choose your length, but cutting it, it speeds up the process. It's still going to be probably a good year and a half of growing it out that it takes, but that's a lot faster than if I was, having my hair super long. Doing the layers really helps break up, again, as you can see here, you get some dark up here, some gray down in here, so it really breaks it up and looks more intentional. So that's my recommendation. And look on Pinterest. Look on Pinterest for inspiration ideas. I know when I started this, and one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video is there's not a whole lot of videos out there talking about the process. The other thing that I would say is don't listen to the negativity. You're all like, the question that I had is, how much is this going to age me? Obviously, people associate white hair with older. Is that such a bad thing? I guess that's the biggest question. I think that, like, I'm 50. I think that age is not something that we should shy away from. I think age is great. It means more wisdom. So I think that embracing our age is beautiful. I'm not so worried about looking old. I think also nowadays the gray is definitely more in style, so it's not as hard of a transition as it would be for someone 10 years ago maybe. If you're thinking about it, why not try it? Why not try something different? The worst thing that happens is you hate it and you can re-dye it. If you're thinking of doing it, it's been an extremely positive experience for me. I guess that would be the other thing. Make it positive. Make it something where you're discovering something new about yourself. Make it an adventure as far as something horrible that you have to just endure. Change it around and make it positive. So those are a few things that I'd like to say today. Thank you so much for listening. Please feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like. And yeah, I'll see you sometime in the near future. Have an amazing day. Talk to you soon.